Hello everybody, it's Brian of Brian's Budget Bonsai, and I am trying to get back in the habit and swing of doing some bonsai videos after a couple weeks off. Some of it was just because I was busy doing other things like visiting family. Some of it was because of unexpected brief hospitalization. Don't worry, I'm okay. Just got to get a couple things straightened out. Always take care of yourself. And what's one of the problems with being in the healthcare profession and being a person that cares for other people is often you don't take care of yourself. So Dave of Dave's Bonsai recently did a video about making sure that you're taking care of yourself and taking care of what's important, and was very timely. So I do appreciate that video. He kind of emphasized a few things that sometimes you just have to take time to take care of yourself. But we also want to make sure we take time to take care of our bonsais. So today I'm just kind of going to start a little slow. I'm going to do basically kind of like my thrift store haul. One of the things I have continued to do is hit the thrift stores for a bunch of interesting stuff that can help with the bonsai. And also I'm going to be doing some replanting of the acacia trees that I got from Dave Harding of Dreaming of Bonsai, specifically the ones that I planted in my small soil, which turned into concrete. Both of them are going to be repotted today into something a little bit more loose, a little more training. So I don't know what went wrong with this soil. Probably the fines acted a little bit more like concrete than an aggregate. So I'm probably not going to use that soil again. That was not helpful. And that is what we're going to do. But first, we're going to do a little bit of a thrift store haul. I'm going to start though with something that is not a thrift store haul, but actually something I bought at a legitimate pottery store while visiting my daughter in. Were we in Kingsport? No, we were in Johnson City. I believe we were in Johnson City, which is near Kingsport, Tennessee, and we went to a place to do a little. Like ceramic pumpkin painting and carving. It's kind of like a fun thing for us to do as a family. And at this pottery store, which I believe was, I think it was Hunter's Pottery. Don't quote me on that, but they had a legit, very rustic looking bonsai pot for sale, complete with good drainage and stuff like this. And cost me $50, but I think it was worth it. And there is a little stamp from the artist who did it. And after I bought it, he did tell me that the guy that made this was a college student, and that $50 can go a long way for a college student. So he really appreciated the sale on that one. So I actually bought a real bonsai pot, and we'll have to find something good to put in that. But of course, I'm not going to only buy bonsai pots. I'm going to buy things that I think could be bonsai pots. This, I believe, is a soap dish. But I thought it was pretty cool. Put some drainage holes in that, and we've got a very interesting bathtub bonsai pot. I found another one of these, only $5, but you might remember, very similar to this. I think mine was a little larger, but I planted, made a ficus forest out of my cuttings, out of a very similar pot this summer. So now I found another one, or at least very similar to it. I think this one's a little smaller, slightly different pattern in the glaze, but I saw it, I'm like, we got to have another. Okay. A couple little statuaries to put there. I had this lady, don't, she looks a little Indian, but it looks like Chinese writing. And to make it more confusing, it says Pigeon Forge written on the bottom of it. Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, 073108. So this has got some, I don't know, bizarre origins, but I thought she looked pretty good along some of my other little geisha girl statuary. But found myself a little statue of one of the terracotta soldiers from China. I thought this was pretty good. He's kneeling down. It's obviously not real terracotta. It is probably a resin, but hopefully it'll weather real well. And now for a little bit of Western culture. Brass monkey, that funky monkey. Brass monkey, that funky monkey. Sorry, everybody. Couldn't resist. So that's for the Western culture. A couple things. Found this. Thought this would work real well for getting. I think it's a frosting spreader, but I thought this would work real well, and I'm going to try it a little bit for maybe trying to wedge things out of pots. And Tom, steak fork, that also help for getting stubborn bonsais out of their pots. And yes, I found one. So all these immediately thought of my mom's kitchen. Probably everybody's mom or grandma had a pair of these in the kitchen. They're very good, sturdy scissors. I did have to tighten this nut up a little bit, sharpen these up a little bit, and redo some of the grooves in here. But this will cut anything just about now. So got that. Saw this interesting thing. This can work double as a chopstick as well as a little bit of a rake and a spoon at the same time. So multi-purpose tool on that. And a whole bunch of chopsticks. I probably don't need any more chopsticks, but now I got a lot more. So always going to have a chopstick handy for tweezing out roots. So I think that was my haul. So I think we're going to move on now to repotting these. I'm going to change probably some camera directions here, but see you in just a sec. Some of you may also notice another one of my thrift store finds. I have changed my background. I have gone with these kind of like roller shades here. I think they're called zebra shades. I thought that, having just that black tarp in the background was a little dungeony. So I decided to brighten it up here a little bit. Still kind of like blocks of use most of the clutter in the background, but it does brighten up this little corner, and it is easily brought up. This one uses a dross, and I can vary the amount of light I'm getting in through there, but also I can bring them up when they are not in use, so that I can right about there. There we go. So I don't feel like this whole area is kind of cordoned off from the rest of the man cave here. All right, so let's see what we can do here. Okay, we have switched to Brian Vision now, and I am going to see if we can first get these out of their pots. I'm going to start with this one first. Let's see. Let me try this to see how this works to kind of get this out. It's got kind of like a curved pot, so I'm going to use the curved spoon. Again, these were my Dave Harding gift acacias that I got earlier this year and repotted. Yeah, look at that. That's pretty much look, that whole surface area is just a solid mat. So I do have to admit that one of the things that I was using in this was supposed to be a non-clumping cat litter, but I guess in the fines still clump. And you can see that it did try to grow into this a bit. Let me just see if I can just kind of slightly loosen that. I think that's a lot more roots than when I planted it. So this is at least looked like it was trying to grow in through it. So I think that's actually not too bad. None the worse for wear. But yeah, I can't have soil that's doing that. This does look like cat litter right now. So we're going to put something better in there. So this goes in the garbage. Wait, we want that back. All right. We need something to clean that out. Okay, there we go. And I'll put that back in there. And let me just spray these up a little bit to kind of wash off the roots a bit. Not going to try to get all the little clumpies out, but I'm going to at least try to wash some of it off. There we go. Okay, so cap almost came undone there. Hey, some of you might have noticed my mess up there. That's why it's important that you label these things, which I have just done. That bottle was the soap and water that I use for, like as an insecticide, which I only have one of these nozzles that actually works. So I trade them back and forth. Now I've this one, water only. Okay, so yeah, I have rinsed the soap and water off the roots. So we did a little more cleaning of that than we anticipated there. So I'm going to now put this back in here, and we're going to add just some more loosely draining and hopefully not clumping bonsai soil a little in there, and this little scoop spoon there. Again, this is actually used bonsai soil, but that'll, I think, work just fine. You can see that this is a lot. It's got a few pieces of bark in it, but this is going to be, got a lot of perlite, it's got some lava rock. It does have some, again, some thicker pieces of cat litter. Or turfus is sometimes referred to as. There we go. All right, I think this will be a little happier in a better draining soil. I know I won't be nearly as worried about it. But I gotta say, they're hanging in there pretty good. I did bring them inside the garage the last couple weeks. Well, actually, starting last week, I should say. We started getting temperatures that were dropping into the 40s at night. And we even had a light frost. It was down like 42, but somehow we still got light frost on like elevated surfaces and the like the roofs of the houses. Some areas of grass got it, but the bonsais for the most part were left untouched. But I had actually filmed a little bit of that, but I don't think I ever used that footage or will use that footage because it was kind of haphazard. And yeah, there we go. This is the frosting spreader. Get in there, wedge that out. And again, I think we got the same stuff as the other one where it formed like a crust at the top here. And the underside was a little looser. There we go. So gonna use the back end of that. Poke, 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 poke. Have that kind of fall apart there a bit. Okay. All right, so we are going to first dump this stuff. Into the garbage you go. Oh, whole year's worth of cuttings in there. All right, maybe that all goes in the compost. All right, so then we're going to clean out the bowl. Get all that dirt out there. We don't want any of that in there. Gonna have to get a little more water and another piece of paper towel. Up. Okay. How's that looking? Pretty good there. Okay. Dirty on the outside. Gonna say thing. Water. This time, clean off some of that stuff off of the roots. Again, I think there are more roots on this than when we planted them. I might have to go back and look at my footage, but I do think that these have put out more roots since the original planting, which means wasn't a complete disaster. I mean, having it in that poorly draining plaster, I guess, almost. I don't know what you call it. Like maybe it was definitely more kitty litter than bonsai soil. Then I think. Well, you know what? When you try to do things on the cheap, sometimes you do find things that work really well, and sometimes you find things that don't quite work for you. I'm going to try planting this on a little at an angle, see if I can take that as a trunk. You know, have the trunk kind of go this way and then this way like that. And let's see if that works. So this is like a little stub here, and this is where the vine growth is going there. So, and this has got kind of a, like this is where the cutting was, and the roots kind of came up, not from the end of this cutting, but all over here. So if I plant this kind of at this angle right here, hopefully that will give a nice movement to that trunk as this tree matures. Excuse me. starting to settle in there, kind of like suspending the roots in midair. And then as I put this in, the roots, it's kind of like fall between the roots, so it makes it a little easier. I don't have to worry about working the stuff into the roots. There we go. They're kind of the soil works itself around the roots if you keep that kind of suspended. You can do that when the roots system is that thin, but all right. So I might do a little poking around here just to make sure things are settled in. Yeah, this isn't one of my new chopsticks. This is actually a barbecue, like a shish kebab skewer, which also works. Let's grab a new chopstick, my orange chopstick, and see how that works. It works just as well. There we go. Put the dirt away. Bring in this one. This one had a smaller root system, but we're going to still kind of poke it around there a little bit. Okay. Well, I think these are good to get some watering, and hopefully that this, let me make sure, I'm going to put this a little more upright. Hopefully what this does is this allows these to develop a nice root system on them without having to worry about their soil being concrete. I was really worried that those roots were not going to be able to grow through that. Looked like most of the solidification of that soil was occurring in the first like half inch, quarter inch, something like that. And further down, it was still loose enough to allow some roots, but I can't see how that would allow good aeration to the soil. That over time, especially over winter, it could have been just turned to mud and then just could have caused root rot. That's a bit of a tongue twister. Okay. Gonna get a little water out of our rain barrel. We haven't had a lot of rain, but I've been mostly hose watering. And you can see the color of this water is because I do add compost tea to my rain barrels. Wanted to use some of the water out of the rain barrels today because, believe it or not, we're actually supposed to get some rain beginning of next week. A significant rain event is what they called it, which is better than slight chance of rain. We are in drought conditions in the Charlotte area. The last pretty much the whole month of October, September, and half of August, we had very little rain. Not none, but very little. And I think that we are in like at least a 4 to 5 inch rain deficit for the time period. So again, most of my time was spent just trying to keep things from dying. And now that we might have, we've got to prepare for winter. It's going to hopefully get some action going now as we get everything prepared. These are some other things that I moved indoors. I've got them out today because it's in the 60s right now. But these are my flame trees, or I think their official name are Dilonyx regia. I brought them in when we started getting into the below the 50s. These don't like being that cold. And the acacias, I've also kind of pampered a little bit because they're new, and I will have to keep an eye on them. Okay, that's it for today, or at least for this video. In real life, I'm going to be doing some more stuff, but I'm going to make those separate videos. I'm going to be planting some seeds and nuts and acorns and other things that I have collected this fall so far. And I'm also going to be kind of like rebuilding the support structure for my lighting for my overwintering bonsai table that I'm going to have for all the tropicals, the ficuses, all my tender plants. That partial frost that we had last week kind of put a fire underneath me. I got to do it. Get this, because I don't know when we're going to have a serious frost that will kill anything that's not hardy. It's coming. It's coming. It'll be there soon. So I'm going to get on that today. Again, that'll be the see probably next video, and then we're seeds and nuts after that. All right. In the meantime, you guys take care of yourself. Like I'm going to try to take care of myself better. But always stay cool and happy bonsai.